Okay, welcome to another episode of Doing Life Radio. Okay, Joyce, what did we talk about this time?
Oh, today is all about love.
Love.
We're talking all things Valentine's Day, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the
Our
beautiful,
stories,
the ugly.
other
Yeah,
people's
what do we do?
stories.
We went into a little bit of the history of Valentine's Day,
'Cause we're
some
smart like
random
that.
stories.
Statistics,
Yeah,
just general Valentine's Day fun.
we just gabbed.
Hey, thank you for joining in on the story. Remember to hit like and share, and let's get everyone else involved in this situation.
Yeah.
And that's it. So that's the intro. Here is
Enjoy the podcast.
the podcast. Okay, so we are going to do something that's a little bit different, and we're being topical and seasonal.
Yeah, I thought it was appropriate since we have a holiday, quote unquote, coming up.
Yeah, in just a few short days, we have this holiday, air
Right.
quotes, if you can't see on the podcast, called Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and I think Valentine's Day, there's three different people you can categorize. There are the people who just love Valentine's Day, they live for it. The people who hate it, they think it's a made-up holiday, they want nothing to do with it. And then the people like us, I really couldn't care. Like, it's nice. I like to get a little something for Valentine's Day, but I'm not
to know
going to
now.
be sad if you miss it. It's not anything I'm really, over the moon about, one way or the other.
I think a lot of that comes too with how long we've been married and how long we've been together.
Well, that's true, because our first Valentine's Day before we were married, we got dressed up, we went out to dinner, it was a whole romantic night. And now, this year, I know I'm working till closing on Valentine's Day, and it's kind of like, oh, well, I guess we missed this one. It
Which
doesn't
is
really
odd.
matter.
You're working at the salon. I would think a lot of people would want their stuff done ahead of time. But are some people looking at this like this is a great opportunity to get in because
Well,
everyone's going out?
I have my regular people who I think feel the same way we do. My regular people have been married for a very long time, and they have their scheduled appointments. They want to get their hair done.
Right.
The spa, on the other hand, they will be booming for Valentine's Day because people will come in for a couples massage, or a husband will send his wife in for a day at the spa. And I think that's a really nice gift. So if you don't know what to get your wife or your husband, I think the gift of relaxation is the way to go. We have enough stuff. Let us just relax.
So it falls back onto like, what do you get? Do you get stuff or do you get experiences? And in this case, you're talking experiences.
I think experiences are the way to go, especially if you've been married a long time.
Right.
Maybe if you're newlywed, it's nice to get, a piece of jewelry or something like that. But after a while, we just want rest.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we haven't been married, quote unquote, a long time, but I guess in
Well,
some
almost
perspectives.
18 years.
Yeah, almost 18 years. And I know that actually went looking in your closet the other day to look at your jewelry and
geez.
to see what was going on there. Because I remember a lot of times the default is like a nice necklace,
Right.
a bracelet, or something like that. But over the years, you're like a piece here, a piece there. You're not really a
and
big jewelry person.
I completely don't expect anything because I know I'm very difficult
Mm-hmm.
in that I don't love to be surprised because I'm very budget conscious. So
Right.
if you were going to spend money on jewelry, I want to love it, and I typically want to pick it out.
Right.
The only time I've ever asked Sam to buy me jewelry was when I was having the babies. I wanted a present at the hospital, and I made it very clear, I want you to bring me a present, and this is what I want. Because at that time, years ago, like gender reveals and stuff, that wasn't a thing. But
no.
push presents was a thing. I don't think that's really, I don't hear about that anymore. I think
Push
that's,
presents?
Yes,
Okay.
you push out the baby, the husband gives you a present. That was what it was, and that was a big thing. So I wanted a present. I knew that. And I wanted it to be from Tiffany's. I wanted a necklace from Tiffany's. And then with the second child, I got the bracelet from Tiffany's. But I knew it was going to be expensive. So I wanted to really lay it out. Like, get me nothing.
Oh, no, I know.
Or get me this.
I remember exactly what I said. This is the exact one I want. I saw it in a magazine. I believe for the bracelet, we might have been at the mall. And
Well, it
in
was
the
the
Tiffany
matching
store.
one.
Right, it was a matching one.
If we
but
went for number 3, I'd have gotten the earrings.
this is how much confidence you had in me that you
I
wanted
had to show you.
You had to show
Yeah.
me, and I wanted to be shown
Yes.
exactly what it was because
And I would have been fine with nothing, but I would have been livid if you had gotten something different.
Correct.
I just wanted nothing or what I picked out.
right. So yeah, so I mean, that's a very valued and cherished piece of jewelry that you have now.
I love it. I wear
Yeah.
it all the time.
Every now and then it makes its reappearance and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I remember there are some other gifts I've given to you, other pieces of jewelry, and I think I've been okay,
You've
but
done pretty well.
I have been nervous every time. But if because that you have a very exact look,
Yeah.
feel, and
And it changes. I think
yes,
my
it
style
does.
changes rapidly. So I know I feel for you, and I don't expect anything because I know I'm difficult. I'm difficult to shop for myself, so I
Yeah.
can't imagine you shopping for me.
Yeah, no, and that's why just in general we've kind of fallen away from, that like surprise gifts,
Exchanging, yeah.
exchanging, and it's just kind of a natural thing that we've.
Yeah. And it's nice to surprise each other once in a while because
Right.
then it really is a surprise. But to get a gift every time there's a Valentine's Day, every time there's an anniversary, every
Mm-hmm.
time there's Christmas, it just gets to be so redundant and it's a waste of money.
Right.
I feel like.
And well, we reach a phase in our lives too where we realize that there's only so many things. Like if we really need or really want something, we prepare and we plan for it. We
Right.
don't drop hints. We don't leave magazines open and
Right.
and all that stuff. So like a lot of my desires are tools. Like there's certain tools and things I want to be
You'd
able
rather
to.
spend money on getting tools that you like than me blowing money
Correct.
surprising you with something you're never going to use.
So we usually fall to the defaults: a sweater here, a T-shirt there, just
Yeah.
simple little things that are more of a gesture than an actual like this is something that signifies my love for you.
And once in a while, he'll surprise me with flowers, but I like that it's only once in a while because I do not want flowers every time it's Valentine's Day, every time it's our anniversary, every time it's my birthday. That sort of thing makes me nuts because there's no thought in it. But if he gets me flowers once every couple of years where it's just such a random thing, that I like.
That I have fallen into, and that is one of the worst things of our marriage. I believe is that I cannot default to flowers.
No.
There's like immediately as soon as there's a sign that one of the flowers is dying, everything goes away. It's like a little bit of green starts to fall off. Nope, this flower it's meant to die. It's dead. Let's go move on to the next one.
No, I feel like it's a lot of work. Now I've got to clean up the dead flowers, put the ones that aren't dead in a different vase. It's a whole thing. I don't
put
need
the
another
water-
thing to
keep,
do.
Keep it with water in it
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
But what do you think about women buying gifts for men? Do you like? I feel like Valentine's Day, a man should get a little something for a woman to say "I
Mm-hmm.
love you," but I don't really feel like a woman has to feel obligated to get a little something for a man. What do
There's
you
not
think?
a lot of reciprocation on that. I like gifts.
You
for
do
what it's
like
worth,
gifts, more so than I
do
think.
like gifts. I don't know. Maybe it's because I grew up in a big poor family, so when gifts showed up, it was like, oh, this is amazing. Like I
Your
love
parents
this
always
thing.
had a big Christmas. I remember when we got married, thinking like, "Wow, this is a lot of Christmas
We
for
worked
all the amount of kids."
We worked our way up to that. Growing up,
Okay.
we didn't have that. So like
Gotcha.
gifts had just so much more weight and so much more meaning. So maybe I still have like that little bit of there's a little childlikeness and
Yeah.
and that's reflected in the way we give gifts to our children. Like I love to give gifts to the
He
kids.
really overdoes it at Christmas
Yeah.
with the kids. I'm the one who has to say, like, we need to stop. This is ridiculous. And then I see Amazon showing up the next 3 days, and I'm like, babe, you said we were done.
Yeah, and I can't help myself. And it's not that we're spending a lot of money. It's just
But we are.
I want to see them be like, and like I love that look and that excitement. And I know a lot of these gifts are just going to go by the wayside. We
And
reached a
that
whole
makes
new
me
phase.
nuts. I sit
Yeah.
down with the kids and I'm like, look, you want quality or you want quantity? Because we can get you a bunch of junk or we can get you a couple things that you're going to love. And that's the way to go.
But to fall back on topic, I mean, I think a little something for a guy. Like if you're in a serious relationship.
Like what? Give us an example. Because I think men are really hard to buy for.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But well,
Like
if
you
you're
get cologne. Okay, you've done that once.
right. Actually, the cologne gift, you gave me a cologne sampler once, and that worked out really good.
Yeah,
That was
I got
a nice
him this.
gift.
I think I got it from maybe Ulta, Sephora, something like that. But it had samples of like maybe 5, 6
Yeah, it
different
was a lot of little
small
bottles.
cologne bottles with a gift certificate in it, so he could try them out, and then whichever one he preferred, he could go back to the store and get the full size one. It was already paid for. It was already done. That was a win. I did a good job with that
You
one.
did a great job with that one. And then, I'd come out of the closet, it'd smell like something different, and
Yeah,
you'd
and
either
I'd be
love it or
like,
hate it.
let's see, how do we like
Right.
this one?
And
Yeah,
we-
that was a fun gift,
And we
actually.
narrowed it down.
That's a good one.
That was a gift for both of us, kind of figure that out. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
would definitely put that on the list. Gifts for guys where the girl says, I want you to look like this. I want you to smell like this. I want, like, this, I think, will.
So you guys like when we pick out your clothes?
Yeah,
a
this
hat,
will
something like
pull
that.
me closer to you. This I think where as far as like the guys, we're I don't want chocolates. I don't want flowers.
Well, you don't, but how about if she made something like
Yes.
chocolate covered strawberries, brownies? Like, not obviously you're not buying chocolate for your husband or boyfriend.
Right.
Probably not. Maybe people do. I don't. I've never done that.
No, we've never done that.
But I've made you things before where I've made you treats for Valentine's Day. And I think guys like that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Well, one of my love languages is doing things for people.
Yeah.
So when someone does something for me, I feel that as well. So yeah, I'm all in on that. Like if you spend time putting something together, maybe that I didn't see you spend the time, but knowing what
Yeah.
goes into that would.
Or making
that's a
dinner
nice-
together. That's always a nice romantic
Well,
thing.
we used to do that early on. Like that was our
Yes.
tradition back early. Sam and Joy's couple
Yeah.
Valentine's
Our
Day.
first married Valentine's Day went to kibbutz because I really worked hard making a really special dinner,
Yep.
a special dessert. And he came home sick as a dog, and he was like, I can't eat anything. He couldn't even sit at the table with me. He went and laid down, and I ate the romantic dinner all by myself. So that was an epic fail.
I remember that. I was working at, I was a phys ed teacher at the Christian school at that
Right.
time, and I was also the basketball coach. So I was like putting
You
my
had
head
long
down,
days.
trudging through. It was
Yeah.
it was very late by the time we got home on that day. And I remember walking in through the back door at that time, and the kitchen's right there. And as soon as I opened the door, I just
You could
smelled
smell
it.
the seafood, and that did not go well
And
for him.
I knew right then and there that you had planned something, you had worked hard at something, and I had 3 steps to determine, can I
How am
tough
I gonna
up?
do this night?
Right, can I make this happen, or am I just out? And by the 3rd step, I was done.
Yeah. He fell hard and quick. He was done for the night.
I crawled out. I remember laying on the couch and while you're wrapping up dinner and
Yeah.
just feeling so sick and then so guilty and just
Yeah,
so
he felt
bad.
terrible. So
That was the
that wasn't a good
worst
Valentine's
Day.
But then after that, we for a couple of years, we haven't done it in a while. Maybe we'll break this
No.
tradition back out.
It's
Probably
been a
not
long-
on Valentine's Day, but we would go to the store and we would buy lobsters. You know how you can buy the live lobsters from the grocery store. So we would pick out our own lobsters. And then we would bring them home and try to race them on the living room, or I'm sorry, on the kitchen floor. But they were not really cooperating. They always just ran all
Yeah,
over the
no,
place. They
but
didn't want to race. They didn't
In
understand
your
how
mind,
important
you're
it was
thinking,
to us.
this is going to be amazing.
My
We're gonna-
lobster is going to be your lobster.
We weren't looking for the biggest. We were looking for the
fastest. Oh yeah, we wanted to demolish each other with this lobster race.
There was a primal urge in there. I remember when we're picking it out because there's something manly about gathering your own food and coming home and
From
cooking
ShopRite,
it. Yeah,
okay.
from ShopRite.
Whatever.
So at the very least, at least I picked it out.
Yeah.
And now this was a very extravagant thing for us. This is our big splurge for the year. We decided
Right.
if we're going to splurge on a dinner, let's splurge on something we can make at home.
Right.
Like instead of going to the store and paying like the
Or rather,
$25 per
at the
pound.
restaurant, it's so much
the
more
restaurant.
expensive. And going out to eat on Valentine's Day, that's
The
never
worst.
a win.
It's the
It's
worst.
so
No, if you
crowded.
can
A lot of
avoid it-
time there's a fixed menu. They don't even have the whole menu available, and you don't get great service. It's just make dinner at home. It's so much more romantic, and we have such great memories of that. It was such a fun time.
Oh, it was
So,
a blast. I remember the big old pot, watching
Yeah.
like just fun, trying to figure out what we're gonna do next, and we would do it together. That
yeah,
was the fun
and looking
part.
up recipes and figuring it all out because
Oh,
now we're
just
pretty
learning.
good with cooking,
Yeah.
but then we had no idea what we were doing.
We were
so
terrible at it.
Yeah.
How in the world do you take a lobster that's crawling around on your kitchen floor and then eventually it
it ends up on your plate and not killing you. So
And it's so early, how did we break it apart? It was a fun learning
was fun.
experience, and it
Yeah.
was fun to look forward to every year. I can't remember what stopped us. Did Tadden break that routine, or we
I
did
think
it
we
a couple
actually
years
did
after?
it with the kids for a while. I think we just got busy and
got-
we stopped it. So maybe probably not on
heartless.
Valentine's Day, but maybe sometime soon we'll have to bring that out for this year. That was fun.
That was fun.
The kids
putting
would really love that too.
Well, especially if the lobsters would cooperate and start running
Yeah,
around the
those
floor.
darn lobsters.
I
We're
do
gonna have to make
remember-
them like tracks or something so they can't veer off. They have to go straight.
Oh, I have things to be able to
Yeah.
do that, so we'll make
We'll
that
have to
happen.
record our lobster race if we do
If
it.
we do, we promise we'll record it and we'll put it on our
Yeah.
YouTube channel. So those that are listening, you may have to hop over to the YouTube channel and watch the Great Lobster Race of 2019.
But one Valentine's Day, we did go out to dinner. We weren't married yet. We had barely started dating because we had started
We're only
dating
3
in
months
winter.
into our relationship. Yep.
And I was living back home. I had already finished school, and he was living at school, so he would come and visit me on the weekends. And I had made us reservations at a really nice restaurant, and I got all dressed up, and we were very
Yeah, you did.
excited. And that's when I learned how unsophisticated this man is.
Well, I didn't grow up going to fancy
Well,
restaurants.
neither did I, but
Right.
we were adults at this point. We weren't babies.
Adult air quotes. I mean, we're still in
Yeah.
our low 20s.
Yeah, we were probably 21-ish.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, because I was 22 when we
Yeah,
got
but
married.
this was a very fancy restaurant. I
But it
mean,
was
for
a
me,
nice
it was
restaurant.
very fancy. Low lighting. The waiters were all dressed up, and then of course everyone's dressed to the nines going
Because it's
into it.
Valentine's
It
Day.
was
So people are
Valentine's
probably
Day.
dressed a little bit better because they're probably out with their boyfriend, girlfriend. It's probably not so many husband and wives because they're probably doing what we do now, which is nothing. But anyway, so we order our meal, very nice meal. And of course, it comes with a salad. And the waitress comes and she puts down these two salads. And as soon as she puts it in front of Sam, he says, "Ew!"
It was
I couldn't believe, I was
very,
so mortified.
Very shocking.
But I'm like, "What are you ewing?" And he's like, "This isn't a salad." And I'm like, okay, because it's not iceberg lettuce. I mean, it was, fancier lettuce and some different ingredients that you wouldn't
Colors,
see in a
different colors.
typical
Like the
salad. It was
emphasis-
more, high end, and he was not having
I was mortified.
it.
I'd
He
never
didn't
seen
want
anything like
anything
that.
to do with that salad, and it was a delicious salad.
I wouldn't know. It looked like, from my 21, 22-year-old perspective, that someone just raked the leaves,
Oh my gosh.
threw a pile in there, threw some green leaves in there.
I think
so they
there
could
were like
call it.
some maybe like walnuts and maybe goat cheese on it, something
There were
like that.
purple leaves, there were orange leaves. What I was
Yeah.
expecting was
He was
like
expecting iceberg
which is
lettuce
just straight green. That's
with
it. End of story.
hard-boiled egg, like the salad you get from Texas Roadhouse. That is his favorite salad.
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair. That's
Yeah.
maybe some
no
bacon.
tomato.
Definitely.
If you put
no
tomato
other-
on his salad, he's going to pout like a child. He won't even pick them off. He just doesn't want it.
Though back then, now I'm a lot more sophisticated. I still pout, I still complain, but at least I put them on your
But
plate.
he will eat grown-up ingredients now. He's come such a long way. He actually enjoys some vegetables now.
Yep. Don't tell my friends.
I won't.
Okay. So yeah, I enjoy vegetables. I actually like those salads now. I like a
I
little
know.
spinach
You've
thrown
really
in there.
grown up.
If I see just an iceberg lettuce salad,
Now you're snobby to that.
I
You don't
will
want that.
snub my nose
Yeah.
at that cheap stuff, that rabbit food. I need some of that classy, good old. What do they call it? Like, I don't know. There's some
Like spring mix?
like a spring mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I need. I need a nice
A little
spring mix.
arugula, something like that in your salad.
Something with some hardiness to it. That,
Yeah, you like some flavor, some romaine.
Yeah, a little bit of jazz on it. But
Yeah.
back then, I had no idea. The only salads I'd ever seen in my life were green. And when she brought something out that wasn't green,
All green. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't hold my tongue very well.
No,
at
it
that.
was pretty embarrassing.
But the meal went good after that.
The meal went great. We had a fantastic time. We had a great Valentine's Day.
Still together.
It all worked out fine. Yeah. So what else? Oh, one of our favorite restaurants, which I don't think we did for Valentine's Day, but we love going to those fondue restaurants where you
Yeah.
you pretty much cook your own food. They bring you the hot oil and you cook your meats
Mm-hmm.
up in it, and then they bring you the chocolate afterwards, and you dip all your desserts in it. That's a fun restaurant if you're looking to take your
I
Valentine's
do like
somewhere.
that. We like the Japanese where they cook the food in front of you.
Yeah,
like
we love
Sakura.
Sakura or any place like that. There's one in Philadelphia we go to that's not Sakura, but it's very similar.
Yep.
And the kids love that. So if you want to do something for Valentine's Day with your kids, that is so much fun.
It's a nice family option. You're all
Yeah,
kind of together.
get a little show with your dinner.
The cooks all have a nice
They have,
little
they have a
laugh.
good sense of humor.
A
and-
great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And, you almost never get a bad one because they're playing for tips too.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's
they're,
always fun.
They're working out there. That's always a very
the food's
exciting
good.
time. So what do you think as far as Valentine's Day is concerned? Now, statistically, I was able to look up some Valentine's Day statistics.
you?
And find
Okay.
out.
What you got?
And so I did find out that actually
He always does research for these. I just show up. So
Yeah.
tell us what you got.
It's all good. Well, I have to do research. I'm not as smart as you. So actually, these statistics are from just a couple years ago, so they're still being gathered and everything.
Okay.
But when we talk about those who celebrate Valentine's Day versus those that don't, actually they studied it and said only half the people, 54% of people celebrate Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So
I think that's probably fair.
yeah, I mean, do you remember Valentine's Day when you were a little kid in school?
Well, yeah, you would give out the little Valentines and you'd make like a shoebox you'd make into a mailbox and all your
Right.
friends would pass them out. But when I was a kid, we would only give Valentines to the people we wanted to give a Valentine to.
Yeah.
Now you have to give a Valentine to the whole class, which I'm totally in favor of, I have to say.
Yeah, without a doubt. Isn't there like a Charlie Brown cartoon where he's just waiting and waiting
And he
for
doesn't get a
he doesn't get
Valentine
any
for Charlie
Valentines or
Brown.
the whole.
Yeah.
Isn't it,
No,
that's
I'm
called
totally
the Charlie Brown
in
Valentine's
favor.
Day.
I think that you either give a Valentine to the whole class or none at all. But our kids are too old. We don't send Valentines anymore,
Yeah,
which
what
is really
what
sad.
grade did they stop doing that? Is
Well,
that
we did it all through the elementary school.
so up
So
to
they,
fifth grade
right,
around
through
here?
fifth grade. And I think in fifth grade, maybe some did, some didn't. But in sixth grade, now you're in middle school and none of that is happening. No.
No.
And if it is, it's happening in like a romantic sense, and we don't want that either.
No, not in our house, not yet.
No, we are
for a
not
long,
ready for it.
Long time, and I don't think our boys are ready for it too. So
Oh,
we're,
I hope
we're
not.
very blessed. But I remember I grew up. I went to a much smaller school
Yeah.
where there was 32 kids in my class, all
Like
the
your
way
graduating class.
Yeah,
That's
all
crazy.
the way through 8th grade. So that little group. So I think we did Valentine's Day all the way up through 8th grade. The
What a
same
bunch of babies.
cheesy kind of thing, and it gets more and more awkward because you have this little card that says "Be my Valentine." You have to sign your name to it and then hand it over to someone, and his name's Tom. And I don't want to
Like,
give
I don't
this.
want you to be my Valentine.
Yeah, this is awkward. Why don't they they've got
That's
a lot.
probably why they're just doing them for the little kids.
Oh my goodness, there are a lot better options now than there were back then.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
everything
super
back
fun
then
options because
has-
we have Pinterest now, so we can make adorable Valentines.
Correct, or you can just buy you can buy fruit roll-ups or Valentine's fruit roll-ups
Yes,
and put the to and
just
from
to
on
and
it.
from, easy peasy.
Yeah, no, there was none of this to and from back then. It was all
Yeah.
be mine, be my Valentine, or have a
yeah,
lovely
okay.
day. Like, before
I was not the mom
technology.
who sent in these awesome Pinterest-worthy Valentines,
No.
but we got some sent home that I was pretty impressed with. I was more like, pick what you want, kids, sign your name. Here's the list of the kids from your class. Write out their names so that your teacher will not think I'm a terrible mother. You have to write it
write
in
it
your,
down.
terrible handwriting so we know that you did it.
Right, mom's not going to write it out
Nope.
there.
They
No.
had to sit down and write every Valentine out. Every year I made them do
I
it.
had to break it down. Sometimes I had to break it down in 2 or 3 sessions because it was just a long,
It could be,
laborious.
especially when they were, in first grade. It,
Oh, yeah,
it could
writing
be a
those
lot.
names was a
Fifth
pain.
grade, they banged it out,
Yeah,
thankfully.
they did a lot better. So yeah, Valentine's Day now is a lot like we don't even have reminders to let us know the Valentine unless you're listening to the radio or
Yeah.
watching TV. But we don't really listen to live radio. We don't really watch live TV. So
Right.
we just kind of got to be like, oh yeah, Valentine's Day is around the
Valentine's
corner.
coming up.
The simple fact that we got ahead of it for this podcast, I think, is a pretty dramatic thing for us.
It's a win, yeah.
It's a
We're
big
on
win.
top of things.
We're all over this. So how much money, like looking at statistics, how much money do you think the country spends on Valentine's
The
Day?
country or a couple?
We're talking about the country in the United States in 2016. How much money do you think was spent on Valentine's Day?
People have to buy a card and then a gift and then probably dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking $150 per household of people who are celebrating
That's
it.
actually correlates really close to later on statistics. So
Oh,
you're very good. Yeah,
Look
not
at
bad.
me. But I don't know how many people live in the United States.
A lot.
But I would say 150 times half of the people who live in the United States would be my answer.
Which equals,
I don't know how many people live here.
how about
Is it $1 billion?
No, it's more than $1 billion. $19.7 billion
See, Hallmark
in
is-
the United States.
They're not a dumb company. They know what they're doing.
They are not. Something's speaking, let's not get started on cards. Do you remember
Yeah.
buying cards like 10, 15 years ago? How much was a
$1,
card?
$1.50.
$1.99.
Yeah.
One of the greatest gifts we ever got for our wedding was an individual in our
I know
church.
exactly
Remember,
what you're
Mark?
gonna say.
It was my
So
most
funny.
favorite, and I've been wanting to repeat it ever since then. It was an envelope, and it was a check.
An actual check.
An actual check, and the check ended with the.
It was
$1.99.
$1.99.
$1.99 because that's how much a card cost. So
Yes.
he figured instead of spending the money on the card,
Yep.
he would give the
Like,
money
if
to us.
everyone just gave you $1.99 instead of a card, you could buy the things on your registry or
It
something
was
along those lines.
the
We
best
were
gift.
dying. It
Loved
was so
much.
funny.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to do that ever since, but no, that's not how we roll.
No, I don't let him do that.
No, you will literally go to the bank, get a brand new crisp dollar bill or whatever it is we're doing for the wedding gift. Put it in a
Or
$6
check,
card.
but I don't
and-
give like crummy bills. If I'm going to give actual physical cash, because like I want them to take it on their honeymoon, I will go to the bank and ask them for a brand new crisp $100 bill. I'm not giving like crumbled up 20s in a card. It looks ridiculous. Go to the bank and get a nice looking bill.
Money is money. And there's something about having a crisp bill too. You don't want to spend it. You're like, oh, it looks so nice. You
Yeah.
don't want
Or you want to
just-
spend it on something special, like taking her to dinner or something.
Right. So you're definitely looking ahead. So $19.7 billion that people are spending.
Crazy.
The states are spending. Now, $4.5 billion of that is on jewelry alone.
Wow.
That's crazy, huh? There's
But people propose on Valentine's Day, so that probably really
it
ups
is
because
no.
they're not just buying
So
chintzy jewelry; they're buying diamond rings
here's a good
or getting
question.
married on
Here's a good
Valentine's Day.
follow-up question then. So is Valentine's Day a good day to propose? Is that something that girls are into, or is it too cheesy
I
now?
think you have to know your woman because I wouldn't care if you proposed to me on Valentine's Day. He actually proposed to me on my birthday. We'll have
My
to tell
birthday.
that story once. Oh yeah, it was his birthday.
I know those things.
Which really threw me off because I thought I was surprising him all day, but he had a great big surprise for me.
It's the most nerve-wracking birthday I've
But
ever had.
some women wouldn't like that. They would think it's too predictable. They would think that
Right.
now we're celebrating the engagement and they want to celebrate that
Mm-hmm.
separately. So I think you just have to know your person. Some people I think would find that very romantic and others they wouldn't care for that. So
So looking for a generic answer, you gave a very specific answer with no end to it.
yeah,
No,
I think
every-
it's sweet. I think it's
You're
sweet to
into it.
propose on Valentine's Day. I'm into it. Yeah.
I think it's cliche, so I think it'd
Yeah.
be too predictable.
Okay.
But then there's always those couples where the guy, like me, thinks it's cliche, won't do it, and the girl
Is waiting.
is waiting for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's
She's
some
laying
great
in wait.
stories.
So yeah, you better not be dropping hints and then don't do it. That's a real letdown. If she has a fresh manicure and you're taking her out to a nice dinner and you've been dropping hints, you better have that ring ready.
Yeah, this would be a good time to really get to know her friends and kind of get a feel for where her head is at. And if you need to call in sick on Valentine's Day, do it to avoid disappointing her. So
Or tell her ahead of time, like, I just want to let you know, we're not getting engaged on Valentine's Day. I think that's totally appropriate to be like, hey, we're going to have a great Valentine's Day. I know we're talking about getting married, and of course, one day we're going to, but I'm not popping the question on Valentine's Day. Just let her know. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
no, there's nothing wrong with that. Assuming you're a couple that can be straight like that. Cause
Yeah, we're pretty like
We're-
ridiculously open and honest, sometimes to a fault where we're like, that was kind of hurtful. Maybe most couples aren't like that.
No,
We're
and
pretty blunt.
that's a lot of the TV shows we watch too. The ones we enjoy are the ones that are blunt and direct and have
Yeah.
that kind of humor where the person just kind of says what
Just
they're
lay it
thinking,
out.
just lay it out there. We don't like especially you. You don't like the run around.
I don't want to tiptoe around a subject. Just give it to me. Even if it's not what I want to know, just give me the information.
Get right to it. So, continuing with statistics, it says that men spend an average of $200 on Valentine's Day.
Is that dinner or
$200.
gifts or just in
That's
general?
average Valentine's Day spending for men in
Yeah, I mean, if you
2016.
go out to a nice restaurant, you're going to spend over $100,
Yeah.
and then if you get a card, well, that's $20. No, just kidding, but it's a lot of money for a card, and then even if you get a little gift, so
I actually think it's
so.
a little low. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
because
That might
even if you get flowers, isn't that like $60? I don't know.
around Valentine's Day, flowers are crazy expensive, and you can't go to ShopRite and buy those flowers.
Why? Because they're all gone, or because it looks chintzy?
Yeah, it looks chintzy. It's got a different
Oh,
feel
I
to
don't
it.
mind that. I don't mind that if you
Most-
bring home
Truth be
flowers
told,
from like the grocery
when
store
I
and
get
fix
flowers
your own
for
little
you
arrangement.
now, yeah, for the most part, I'll go with the boys and we'll pick out a few
Yeah,
flowers.
I like
and
when the
throw it
boys
together.
pick it out and they're like, "Oh, I picked out this one, I picked out that one."
Yeah,
and we
then
have
we put it
friends who
together.
own this fantastic flower shop. So when you
it's
get
a
flowers
beautiful
from
flower
there,
shop, yeah.
it's always like,
Top notch.
Oh, they're so beautiful,
And they
yeah.
have so many unique
yeah,
flowers
they're just
and
different
everything.
than getting me a dozen roses.
Yeah, I think we can mention them. They're not going to throw us any flowers. I don't even know if they listen to it. But the flower shop in Vineland, if you're
Yeah,
local,
on Main Road in Vineland, if you're
Oh, my
local,
goodness,
they
they
have
have-
the most beautiful flowers you've ever seen.
But don't be that guy that goes in last minute. You got to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
This time of the year, if you want the good flowers, you got to get ahead of it. Last minute is the grocery store, 7-Eleven, and that.
And that's not bad either. I don't think that's a big
Oh,
problem.
I'm not saying their flowers are bad. I'm just saying like the arrangement. Like if you wanted like a big full arrangement,
you're going to
vase,
lose. You're not going to have choices. Is that what you're
correct.
saying?
That's what
okay.
I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
you get like you're gonna have more options going ahead
Right.
of time to a flower shop versus going in last minute grabbing whatever roses are left over, whatever carnations and baby's breath and all that wonderful stuff. So you have that kind of going on. They actually say girls spend $100 on women spend $100 on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I think you really just need to get them a card. Because I guess you have to. I'm so not sentimental. I do get him a card for holidays, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I do it out of obligation, truth be told. And then maybe make him a little something. And I think chocolate covered strawberries are always a win. And I think that's it. That's all you need to do. Don't start setting the bar so high now,
yeah.
because then it's going to be a letdown later. Just give him a little something. Tell him that you love him, or maybe you just care. Maybe you're not there yet, and that's it. That's a wrap. This does not have to be a whole ordeal.
Yeah, definitely. If you're early on in the relationship, keep the bar low.
Yeah.
And then eventually you grow into it where every day is Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's gonna happen.
Where, yeah. So express your love, every day of the year, and you don't have to highlight on one
Yeah.
particular day.
So I know you were seeking out some stories for Valentine's Day. I know you had found some
Yeah, we
online, and
did.
you had asked some of our family and
We did
friends.
get some good responses to it, and I
Yeah,
know I've
give us
seen
some fun stories.
a couple Valentine's Day stories there. So one is there was someone who was saying that they had that they were building up to this relationship. They got dumped on Valentine's Day,
Don't do that. I
and
mean, seriously.
that
Maybe
was
cancel dinner and then dump the next day, but don't dump someone on Valentine's Day. What's wrong with people?
yeah. Just at least wait till the day after or the day ahead. I know a lot of the humor.
The day before is fine, but don't do it on the 14th.
Yeah, no. If you're gonna do it, just ride it
Unless
out.
you never want to see that person again. I mean, then just go for it.
See them, see their friends, see their family.
Yeah,
You don't want
'cause
anything
you're
to
gonna
do
be
with
dead
that.
to them.
Yeah, those are pretty sad. I do remember a time, and someone had a very similar story to that. I remember when it was in middle school, I believe, and my friend had this huge crush on this girl, huge crush on this girl. So I was playing the go-between, and we did
Okay.
one of those
You were the wingman.
anonymous, right? Those anonymous, guess who?
Right.
This is
Do you like me? Circle
secret
yes or
admirer
no.
kind of deal. Did one of those kind of transition things, and just trying to slow play it, and so no one would know, and everybody knew who it was, and
Yeah.
it blew up so fast. And I remember being his friend, trying to like, no, it's not him, and
But it was him. Why?
I know, but there's something about keeping
were
the
defending
secrecy.
him?
I was
Okay.
trying to defend him, a secret admirer.
I think the secret admirer is very romantic.
Yeah?
I do like that. Yes. Now there's a big difference between stalking and creepy
Yeah, if
and
you're-
secret admirer. But yeah, if you know that a woman is single and you send her flowers from a secret admirer, I think that's very romantic.
Yeah, if she's single. If you're
If
married
she's single
and you have a
you're
secret
single
admirer.
too. Only if you're both single and available. Other than that, totally inappropriate.
Yeah, if someone shows up here with a little note, secret admirer, we're gonna have
They're
some,
going down.
We're gonna have some words.
It's not
and different
gonna
things.
end well.
unless they're admiring our dogs, which
Then they can have them.
they-
I mean,
okay,
what?
that went that went a little
Sorry.
that went dark. There's been someone was sharing a story about how their boyfriend forgot he set up a date on Valentine's Day. Like she was kind of leading in. What are we gonna do next
Okay.
week? He said, next, what are we gonna do next Friday? I guess Valentine's Day was on a Friday. What's gonna happen next Friday? He's like, oh well, let's go out to dinner. No big deal.
He didn't realize it was Valentine's
Had
Day.
no clue it was Valentine's Day. She got all dolled up, dressed to the
Aw.
nines, ready to go. She's
Yeah.
got a gift waiting for him. He comes through the door.
He's like,
She's
"What's up?"
expecting to go out somewhere. He's like, just, Taco Bell or something
Oh
really
my
like
gosh.
a low end, not some high end restaurant. He shows up, t-shirt and jeans. She's dressed to the nines with a present, and he's like,
Apparently, he doesn't have TV, radio, or the internet.
no idea that February
Or common
14th
sense.
is Valentine's Day. He learned very, very quickly. There's a story of someone who they had a crush on this boy, and
Okay.
she was building up and secret admirer and all these kind of things, only to find out like she was going to meet him somewhere or whatever.
Okay.
So they had this meeting point. He was going to find out. He shows up with his girlfriend. She had no idea that he was already dating somebody.
But didn't he know what he was coming for?
He knew he was coming to find out who the secret admirer was. So I don't
What a
know what the
jerk.
extent. So, but he brought his girlfriend with him. She had no clue that he was dating somebody. Totally blew up in
Poor
her
thing.
face.
Give
So
us a
that's
happy story.
a happy story. I have one of the happiest stories.
right.
Probably one of the most. Like if you're like someone who doesn't really buy into sappy love stories, this is a real life
It's a
story.
real sapper.
It's a real sapper
All right.
from one of our good friends. I love this couple. They got married. Linda and Julian, they got married on Valentine's Day. 27 years ago, she says, they got married on Valentine's Day.
Now,
So
here's the thing. Do they celebrate anniversary or do they celebrate Valentine's
Here's
Day?
what-
Because that gets to be tricky. It's like having the kid who's got a birthday on Christmas Eve.
here's where it gets really, really icky and sappy
Oh,
and
okay.
all that kind of stuff. So if you're a guy listening, you want to pay
Listen
close
up.
attention, or you want to turn this off so your wife or your girlfriend does not
Doesn't
hear
hear.
this, because it's not going to help your situation. So every year they celebrate Valentine's Day
Okay.
and their anniversary and
On the same day?
he gets her a Valentine's Day gift
Oh, he gets two separate
and
gifts
an
about.
anniversary
Oh,
gift
that's really
every
smart.
year.
That is so nice.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly nice, incredibly sweet, totally disgusting.
Yeah,
But
but really sweet.
and then on top of that, he had written her. He's a musician. He had written her a song, a very special song, just for
Aw,
her on
love
their wedding
song.
day, and he still plays it every year on Valentine's Day.
That's
Plays it
sweet.
for her.
That's very sweet.
That is very sweet. That is
See,
what we
that's more the
call.
experience gift that we like. We
Oh,
like
hands
more
down.
an experience.
It's also one of those unattainables. Like that's just
Well, not everybody can do that because
not
not
everyone.
everyone is musically talented.
No, I'm talking about the whole thing. This guy is just top notch. Like if it's
Yeah.
he obviously kudos to him for getting married on a date that will always be remembered.
Right.
Like there's no possible way he
He could
forget
never forget his anniversary. So that
Valentine's
was
Day.
smart.
So incredibly
Yeah.
smart on that end. And then what I think happened is for the first couple years he set the bar too high. He said
Now he's
so he said
stuck.
Valentine's Day gift and this gift, and then I'll remind you about this song I played. And then
Yeah, the rest of your life,
I think
buddy.
what happens about the third or fourth anniversary, he might have showed up with one and she's expecting the other. He's
I don't
like,
think so.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
As his car screeching out of the driveway
No,
going
I
down
think
the Walgreens.
he was prepared. He seems like somebody who had it in the bag.
He's definitely a guy
Yeah.
that's totally prepared. But man, talk about setting the bar high for like all of us. They've been married 27 years. I won't reveal their age, but they're not young. They're not young pups. It's not like they got together in their teens and like they're so like this is just something like that he's invested in, and you can see the love they have for each
Yeah.
other. It's really really cool, and what a neat story that she shared with us about her. Like we were talking about special Valentine stories, the wins, the fails, and she says the first line she says, "The best thing I ever received on Valentine's Day is my husband," is what she said.
Oh, my.
I know, very,
Wow.
very incredibly sappy.
Well, that's sweet. I like when I hear spouses speaking highly of one another because I'm a hairstylist, so I will hear people just go on and on about how much they hate their husband. And I think, how sad is that? You chose to live with this person and you said your vows that you were going to love this person. And the least you can do is speak highly of them. Now, there are some situations where you've got to get things out. I vent too to my girlfriends, and please feel free to tell me your stories. I'm not judging you because I definitely have my moments too where I've got to vent. But for the most part, when you hear someone speak highly of their husband, it's encouraging.
Yeah, I think
Or
hands
highly of
down,
their
you
wife.
should always speak highly of
Yeah.
your spouse because, like we had talked about it in another podcast, you chose that person.
Yeah.
Like, so this is the person that you made a commitment to God to spend the rest of your life with. Why would you want to put that person down? Why would you want
Right.
other people to see the person you're committed to as less than who they are?
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things that can ever happen is like if someone comes to me, "Oh, your wife was saying such and such about you," and a lot of times I'm like,
Something
well,
good.
well, what was it?
Right.
It's like, no, it was good. They were saying,
Yeah.
she was saying, I was like, my wife, like she said that about me because we don't walk around the house handing out compliments. We're
Oh, no, we're pretty snarky at home.
hands down. So
Yeah.
when you overhear that someone is speaking kindly of you,
Really, anybody. When you overhear somebody speaking kindly about you, no matter who they are, it really builds you up.
builds you up, it encourages you, but when it's your spouse, it just takes it to
Yeah.
a whole nother level. So like the biggest thing, maybe the biggest thing at Valentine's Day is just speak highly of your spouse.
Yeah.
Tell people like some of the really neat things that you really love and adore. Now the downside or I guess the flip end of that is you spend so much time with that person, you do see their faults.
Right.
You do see their flaws. And sometimes you want to, there's a venting moment, but other people don't see those flaws.
Yeah, and
You
for
don't
the
need
most
to point
part, I
them
don't
out.
think it's a terrible thing to vent to like your best friend about the fight you had with your husband and how he's making you nuts. I don't really think that's a big
No.
problem because that's with a trusted source who knows that you're venting and knows that you love your husband.
Very true.
But when people go on Facebook and they blast their
yeah.
spouse, even if they're going through a divorce or a separation, I just think it's so inappropriate to just put someone on blast like that, whether
Yeah.
it's true or not, no matter what the person did. Some things should be remaining private.
Exactly. Like your relationship is your relationship, and putting it out there. No one's ever solved anything through social media.
It just makes it worse.
It just makes things worse. So keep your trash in the trash can. Don't expose it out there to everyone else. And I do agree with that. Like there are moments for venting and kind of getting the frustration out, but it's venting to a trusted source, someone who's
Right,
going to
not the World Wide
keep
Web.
you in line. Someone's going to say, okay, now we're done, right? So let's move on. Let's go
Right.
from that. And usually that's all it takes. Just spit it
Just
out.
sometimes you have to get it out and
Then you're
let
done,
it go.
because
Yeah.
there are some things you can't vent to your spouse about. Like, you just need to get it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes with your best friend, a quick phone call or something like that, and get it all taken care of.
So I thought we might share our feelings on love, because people think, I find some people are mortified when I tell them my opinions
Oh,
on like soulmates and things of the such.
Soulmates.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. We were meant to be together.
I know
It was
some of you
destined in
are
the stars.
searching for your soulmate. And here's what we feel about it. And luckily, we're on the same page with this, because some people are just, they can't even believe we feel this way. We do not believe in soulmates.
Nope.
We both believe we could have married someone else and been probably just as
Hands
happy
down. Yep.
and had a very successful marriage.
Correct.
We believe that you have the freedom to pick whoever you want to marry,
Right.
and then you have to decide to make that work.
That is true.
Now, people find that very unromantic.
It's at its core, it does sound unromantic.
But I disagree. I think it's very romantic that you could have married many other women, had a very happy life, but you chose me over anybody.
Right.
And that daily you decide, no matter how bad we're fighting or what's going on in our lives, that you're
choose you
going to
again.
stick by me. I think that's super romantic. But I guess other people think I'm nuts when I'm like, there's no soulmate. Just figure out who you like. See if they like you back. If you're on the same page, you have the same goals, get married.
Go for it.
What's
Right.
the problem?
That's it's that feelings-based culture that we live in too. Like, everyone's
Yes.
like, well, I don't feel it. I want to
Yes.
have the right
and you
feelings when
should,
we're around
especially
it.
in the beginning,
Oh,
you should
hands
definitely have
down.
butterflies in your stomach. But there will be times where you do not feel love for that person, where you feel nothing but frustration for that person. And
Yep.
if you marry that person, you need to decide over and over again that you're going to stick it out because you made a commitment. Obviously, there are times where you need to get out of that relationship. That we won't go there, but
other
we certainly
circumstances.
realize there are times where maybe somebody leaves and you're stuck on your own. Yeah, you move on with your life, of course.
Abuse situations, obviously,
Yeah.
there's outliers to this, but
Yeah.
in a normal functioning relationship,
You constantly choose.
you choose love. Like, love is not
It's
an
not
emotion.
a feeling. You can't let emotions get in the
It's
way.
a decision you have to make every single day to that person. It's not like your children, where they're there and you just love on them, and there's an unexplainable love for your children.
Yeah.
Because they are half you, and whether it's biological children, adopted children, children you're helping to raise, like, there's just an unexplained love for them.
Yeah.
And your spouse, you should be able to say, this is a commitment, a decision I made to love you. And like, going back to the beginning, you want to have attraction to it. You want to have a physical attraction to
Yeah.
a person, a mental, emotional, a spiritual attraction. You want to be in line with your faith and your faith walk. That helps a ton.
And I think you also need to keep up appearances. So if you were going out on a date with a man, for 2 years before you got married, and you always got yourself put together, don't all of a sudden sweatpants it the rest of your life as soon as you get married. Like, he married you because he enjoyed that you took time to put yourself together. So I think whatever appearances you kept up while you were dating, you need to continue to keep those up after you're married. Obviously, he's going to see the good, bad, and the ugly after the fact that maybe he didn't see ahead of time. We never lived together or anything like
Nope.
that. So he probably really didn't see me without makeup unless we were at the beach or something like that. And now, of course, all the time, I look like a homeless. As soon as I get home, I look like a homeless person. Makeup's off, glasses are on, ponytail, sweats.
Baggy sweats, whole socks.
But if he's taking me out to dinner, I'm going to put myself together.
Yeah,
So-
and there's no greater compliment than to say, I value you so much
Yeah.
that I want to make
Look nice
myself
for you.
presentable. Oh, man. And I love walking around with my trophy wife. I love that. On the flip side, like, I just put on a shirt that has a collar. So sometimes I
they
need
really
to...
have it easy. It's ridiculous.
I do, and we'll talk about this some other time. Someone had asked a question about our morning routines, and
Oh,
and
really?
so we'll dive into what
Okay,
our
fun.
routines look like. But, like, now, I mean, even just getting ready for a podcast and getting set up to record, it takes you a little bit more time to get
Well, he had
camera
told
ready.
me we were doing a podcast, and then he sprung on me that these will also be on YouTube. because I guess a lot of people aren't really
It's
into
a
the whole podcast
number two
thing.
most searched site. Yeah.
So now I've got to get ready for these things. And this is being done on my day off. And today, truth be told, I really had a struggle, which I went over with Sam. I'm like, I really should wash my hair for this podcast because it's been a couple of days, but I'm going away for the weekend and I would prefer to wash it tomorrow. So there's a lot of dry shampoo going on. I don't know what I look like because the camera's so far from me that I can't see it.
You look great. You
Oh,
look
I'm sure.
amazing.
So yeah, this was not in the original contract, this whole viewing. So now I've got to get it done up just to talk.
So you're wrestling with the hair issue, and I'm deciding, well, do I need to shave around my beard, or am I good to go? And ultimately, I decided, nah, I'm good to go. So yeah, there's a whole lot that goes into that. But I do like that point of maintaining your appearance, and that kind of falls into, you know, last year and what started this whole podcast and our life decisions to be more healthy and everything like that. And when I look at pictures from a year ago where I was, you know, my physique and everything like that, I'm like, huh, okay. So yeah, I mean, you joke about it all the time. Like, you know, I was the big guy with the hot wife. And
no, I don't joke about that.
But
now that everyone's complimenting Sam because he lost all the weight, I keep telling him, like, wait a minute, I'm the skinny hot one in the relationship. Get it right, buddy. You need to slow your roll.
And I'm very, very much aware of that, and it is fun. But so, we as a married couple, do we celebrate Valentine's Day? That was
not planned.
That was totally unplanned. But that is our approach. I mean, are we going to go looking for cards? Probably. If we're in the store, we'll go looking for it. I did see my my sister and her husband do the card exchange in the store. So
what? They don't buy a card for each other?
They go to the rack,
okay,
look at the cards, they look at it, and they say, this is the card that I would get for you.
Oh.
And she hands it over to him, vice versa. He says, this is the card I would get for you.
That is so smart because I hate writing in cards.
What's really awkward is when they write the special comments on them.
Yeah, and then put it back. No, my penmanship is so deplorable.
It's terrible.
It really is. And I hate that it is because I feel like I don't write like a girl. I write like a guy, like a bad doctor guy.
Like a lumberjack.
It's so bad. And so I hate, even when they pass cards around at work and they're like, oh, so-and-so is, you know, whatever, retiring, sign something. I hate it. I dread it because I feel like everyone's signature looks beautiful and then there's mine. And it sticks out like a sore thumb. One time for someone's baby shower, they asked us instead of cards to bring a book and to write a message in the book.
Okay.
I had one of my friends write the message and sign it for me because it's not just a card. Now it's a book that's in this kid's nursery and they're going to look at it over. That is how devastated I am over my penmanship. And even when I sign your cards, I literally hate cards because I don't want to have to sign anything because my handwriting's that bad.
Right. Oh, that's a shame. I love writing notes in the cards. I love kind of expressing.
He's so much more sappy than I am with that sort of thing.
Well, it's, to me, I get 2 or 3 times a year to really put down and express in writing.
No, you can do that anytime, honey. I will allow it.
Apparently not, because the cards are really stinking expensive, and it hasn't yet become socially accessible.
You could write it yourself.
Could I text it to you?
Yeah, send me a text. That's nice.
That'd be good, because then every year I could just hit copy paste.
Once in a while, our mechanic is right down the road from where I work. So once in a blue moon, like once every 5 years, like not often, not often at all, I'll come out of work and there's a little note on my windshield from Sam because he happened to pass by and he saw my car. That is romantic.
Yeah, once in a blue.
Yes, but that is what, if it happened every time you got an oil change, that would be like, oh, Sam got an oil change today. This is just part of the routine. No, it's nice that it was like completely out of the ordinary, unexpected.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy. And you?
Yeah, you're swell.
Very similar story. One time you left a little note on, and I know it's your handwriting.
Can't be denied.
Left a note in my office says I love you, and that was it. It just says I love you on a post-it, and I have it slapped up on the back of my. I'm so proud of that note because it's yours. Now you didn't sign it. You didn't put love, Joyce.
I would assume that you would know who loves you.
I knew who it was, but every now and then someone asks who loves you. I'm like, my wife loves me.
That's awkward.
It is awkward, but then that's a broader into question. Who loves you? Well, who really does love me? And then we can go deeper into that. So Valentine's Day, yay, nay, it really depends on your relationship.
Yeah.
Work it out.
Figure out what your partner thinks about Valentine's Day. And if they're really into it, I say you suck it up and you be into it for them.
Yeah, because it's one day a year. And it's actually not a made-up holiday. There is a history to it. Just Google it, find out. There's 2 or 3 different stories. Some guy named Valentine, Saint Valentine. There's one theory. It has to do with like at the Roman Empire. They said they wanted more soldiers, and they felt like guys were getting married, and that made them weak and soft, so they banned marriages.
Wow.
So this guy Valentine, a priest or something like that at the time, he would secretly marry everyone off.
Oh
so
my
he became,
goodness.
and then when he passed away, he became Saint Valentine. The other theory is that he was again opposing the Roman Empire. Then he was sent to jail and eventually was going to be killed. How do you say that? Capital punishment, whatever it is. They were going to put him to death. So before he was put to death, he wrote a note to his loved one and passed it on. There, there goes the tradition of giving out notes and cards. Valentine's Day.
Giving out Valentines.
So these stories run all the way back to the Roman Empire, dealing with Roman gods and all that kind of crazy stuff. There's a whole lot of theories of how this thing started. Quite honestly, it was some guy at Hallmark who said, "You know what?
I'm going to capitalize on this story.
Let's kind of work this thing out to our advantage." But ultimately, yeah, it's fun to spend
we
time.
love, so we say go for it.
And there's some great stories out there, and we appreciate you all sharing them with us and spending a little bit of this time with us. As we wrap up, we want to say thank you for those who have listened. Again, you can join in on the conversation, share with us at doingliferadio@gmail.com. You can email us directly. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram. Just search at Doing Life Radio, and you can join in on the conversation. Follow us along there.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone. After our first episode launched, our phones just blew up with all of this positive reinforcement, people just giving us really great compliments, and it was really very kind. It was overwhelming, and just thank you so much for the support. We're trying this out. We're going to see how it goes, and we just love you all. Thank you so much.
We have a few in the bank that we'll start rolling out, but this one is going to be our Valentine's Day episode. This is our love letter to you. How about that?
Oh, well, sorry for you.
It was a pretty sad letter, but it didn't cost you $1.99.
Yeah.
It was free to listen, free to watch. We thank you very much.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Remember, buy the good flowers.